ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Star Cash Remarks. Pretty boring game, and then boom, 7-goal third period. That was pretty nuts. Stars lose tonight. Final score 6-3. Like I said, looked like a real snoozer through the first two periods, and then turns into something pretty entertaining at the end there. Just didn't go our way. How you doing tonight, James? What'd you think of the game?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I hate losing to the B-Cats. Absolutely hate it every time.
Yep.
It's crazy how much calling penalties will change a game, how much more offense will be put into a game when penalties are called.
Yeah, I think it's also fair. There's definitely going to be, I think, a little bit of officiating complaining at this point. Before we do that, I'm going to throw the caveat out there before anything. Stars totally got dominated tonight.
They got destroyed.
Yeah, so we're going to complain, and I think we're still justified. But before we complain, I'm going to say Stars were not good enough. The first two periods dominated. Even the third period, when you look at it, we had the same number of power plays as the Preds did in the third period. And we got almost outshot twice as much. So, yeah, we could complain about some officiating. I think there were some bad calls, but that's not what lost the game tonight. What lost the game tonight was the Preds were just harder on the puck, faster than the Stars, and overall better. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Time for us to complain. Go ahead, James. You can go first.
All right. So how do you call no penalties for the first 30 minutes of a game, and then you call 7?
Yeah.
in the back half? That is so stupid. Granted, it most of the time ends up benefiting the Stars. And score-wise, I mean, you could kind of argue that, yeah, it kind of did benefit the Stars. But I don't understand how there's nothing and then everything.
Yeah. And then I don't know how many times the Stars have had a 2-minute advantage this year. I think once, and we didn't score on it. And I don't know how we haven't gotten on one recently. I mean, on that last power play that the Stars had, there was 2 chances for us to get the 5-on-3 call. 2 pretty obvious calls that should be made, and they weren't. And that is it. The officiating the past ever since the new year has been really frustrating to us, and it's just I feel like it can't get worse than this, and then it continues to. Because while the Stars did not deserve to win this game, they had a chance, and officiating kind of took it away from us, I believe.
I feel like more than officiating, our own being solid with our defensemen and our own end finally caught up to us tonight, I think.
Yes.
I mean, the defensemen specifically played pretty poorly tonight. Some very, very bad turnovers, some very bad giveaways. And that was not something that we saw the last couple of games even.
Yeah, that's definitely the bigger piece than the officiating is. Officiating is just a lot more fun to complain about. Talking about turnovers, as soon as the Stars get the first goal in the third period, perfect timing, 2 minutes into the game, get the goal. Way to go. You got 18 minutes to work that back and get back into to a tie and make this a hockey game. And Suter dumps the puck in to his own zone, and it gets pushed to the front, and they immediately score right after it. I mean, that has to be one of the worst plays that I've seen Suter make this year in a game that he wasn't playing bad in. Like, he was playing fine, and then he does the dumbest thing I've seen. It was on a wand faceoff, no pressure, and he dumps it behind his own net. And that's the antithesis. Is that the right word, James? Of everything that we've talked about Suter doing this year. This game was. Because off the puck, he played pretty good. And then that shows right there that he just doesn't think when he has the puck on his tape. He just tries to pass off the problem. That's exactly what he did there, and he did the worst play he probably could have.
I called it brainless to everyone in the living room because it kind of was. I mean, he takes time. He takes the time. He controls the puck and passes it to his defenseman who is being covered. I mean, there is already a dude on Harley and instantly gets turned over because, I mean, what did you want from him?
Yeah, there was no worse play for him to make there. That was the worst decision to make there, and there was several options for him because, like we said, nobody was pressuring him. So I mean, that was frustrating.
Harley wasn't even originally going to go behind the net. I mean, I'm sure he wanted to join up on the rush, but Suter just sits there for the extra second and then decides that he's going to put it behind his own net, which, I mean, maybe there's a sense where like Harley should be there right off the faceoff, but he wasn't. So don't pass it to no one.
Yeah, and I don't mean to blame just Suter here. I'm gonna blame him there because that was probably the single worst play I saw tonight was that one. But
that was the biggest turning point in the game, was that play right there. That's why it's so frustrating, especially when Heiskanen's out. When you're looking to the veteran presence on the blue line. I mean, he is the oldest person there. He should know what to do. And he turns it over as soon as we make it a 1-goal game.
Yeah. But like I said, to try and get off Suter's back a little bit, lots of defensemen were not good. Kind of to prove that here, there's only one player that gets over 20 minutes time on ice tonight, just barely. But there is only one player, and it's Thomas Harley, and he has 27 minutes time on ice. Your rookie defenseman leads your blue liners by 7 minutes time on ice. That is not good.
And if you look at even strength, it's not any better. I mean, he has at least 5 more minutes than anyone else, even strength even. So you're taking away his power play time too. And he still has more than everyone else by far. And he only has a -3 on the night because he's on the ice for the 2 empty netters.
Yeah, pretty rough, I think, there. So we've talked about some defense. Defense wasn't great. We gave up the highest shots we've seen in a while. 38 shots on goal for the Predators tonight. And we got to give them some credit too. They played very well, super hard on the puck. They made it tough on our defensemen all night too. They know that we're weak on the blue line, and they pushed that and made us make mistakes all game long.
Yeah, and it's frustrating in a game where you get Otter back after playing this team so well 3 games ago. I mean, we gave up 20 shots and almost nothing in front of the net, it felt like, to come out and do this and kind of leave Otter out to dry on a lot of the shots. I mean, sure, we're fine stopping the rebounds, but if you give up 20 shots from the slot, only 4 went in, that's pretty good.
Well, and Ardell's reading my mind here. Otter gives up 4 goals in his return. He didn't have an easy night. You could definitely give him that. It's a tough first night to come back on. But once again, you're looking at Jake Ottinger, who's been fantastic, one of your cornerstones of the team, and he's got another game sub 900 save percentage. And that's below what we expect of him, and that's below what we need to if we're looking at being a cup contender.
And some of that I'm hoping is just him coming back. It's his first game. I mean, you could see throughout the game, he did look more comfortable as the game went on. I mean, there was the one bad O'Reilly goal where it just kind of like bounced to the front of the net. That's tough. That one is so weird. We blocked the pass that's going there, and it still goes there anyway. But other than that, I mean, he looked fine. I mean, you look at the other 3 shots that beat him, they were all like great chances for the other team.
But that's kind of the problem, though, because Wedgwood played fine too, you know? So fine goaltending got beat by some really good goaltending that the Preds had tonight. I mean, friggin' Lankinen made some incredible stops in tight, especially in big moments. I mean, he almost got through that last Stars power play for them on his own. He almost worked through it. So we still lost the goalie battle again tonight, and it's kind of been that way since the beginning of this year, except for when Matt Murray was put in. So
in terms of who won the game, we kind of lost the goalie battle, but I still feel like we left Otter out to dry a little more. I mean, we still scored 3 on Lankinen on like, what was it, like 22, 24 shots or whatever we had. Like, and we leave Otter in there for, I think it was 34 before it got really late in the game. But that's
the bigger deal too.
It feels like you have to do better than that when the dude's coming back into the lineup for the first time. And it felt like the defense played not as good because they were expecting Otter to play better. I don't know. That's all I can think. It's like, oh, Otter's back in net. We're good. And they maybe you get a little bit of that in there. You get a little too comfortable, and it's just bad turnovers like all night long. I think in the first period, we had like 9 giveaways.
Yeah. I'm with you there. The bigger deal to me is the defense. I think you give up that many shots and you play in your zone for that long, really. That's going to lead to a lot of goals, but just still worth pointing out that Otter isn't fully back right off the get-go, which you got to kind of expect to.
ESPN has giveaways as 3-21. So the Predators gave up 3 and the Stars gave up 21 giveaways.
Well, you know how much I love that stat, but
but when it's that drastic,
that lopsided,
even you cut half of our giveaways away, that's still 3-10.
Yeah, that might tell you
something.
That
is tough.
And once again, I think we should go back to this. The Predators played it perfectly, especially coming off of the last game that we played against them. They couldn't get anything going. They just looked slower than the Stars. And to come out and play completely differently, put all the pressure on our defense, make them make mistakes, play in our zone pretty much the whole game. They executed very well tonight. This was a very different team than we saw a week ago for the Predators, and you got to give them credit for how they played.
Yeah, and not scoring on the Stars side for the first 2 periods is really bad, and it's not good. But the forwards weren't the ones making the mistakes defensively tonight. I mean, really, it was giveaways from the defensemen that ended up being goals in the back of our own net.
Yep, I tend to agree with that one too. This was such a bad game. We can still give a little bit of blame to the forwards. They do only end up getting 22 shots on goal tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
Not enough from them. A lot of that, I think, is due to possession time. Like I said earlier, Preds doing a good job keeping the puck in our zone. Stars didn't get a lot going either, though. It took the penalties to start coming, like you said.
That's what was a little frustrating tonight. Was seeing. I mean, the first 3 minutes of the game, we were great. We were forechecking hard. I think the shots were like 3-0 after the first 3 minutes. And we take a penalty, and instantly we're on the back foot. We couldn't do anything the rest of the game. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty inexcusable, especially seeing that you could do it in the first 3 minutes. I mean, they were absolutely swarming the Predators, and we can't get that going for the rest of the game.
And it's not even like the Predators' power play that they got was like all that dangerous.
It was bad. They had one rush chance, and that was it. Yeah, they never set up in the zone.
We killed it off well, but like you said, the Stars didn't play for the rest of that first period. They didn't play at all in the second period, and it took some like really outstanding plays by one Matt Duchene and a couple of other guys to get anything going in the third period, and it was just some good execution there. So 22 shots, definitely not enough from the forwards as well. You got to get more going. Just overall, bad game from the Stars. If this was a playoff team that we were playing against the way we played the Preds tonight, it would not have been close. It's
a wild card team, so they're in a playoff spot.
They are? Ooh.
They're in a playoff spot.
They did play better tonight. They impressed me, but
this is where it's a little frustrating because like this game, they played absolutely amazing and destroyed us. And last game, that's what we did to them, but they won that game.
Yeah, they still won.
And it's like that I really wanted to win this game because of that. And we almost did it. And we just kept giving up the goal at the worst possible time. I mean, we did it twice.
Yep.
Twice we did it in the third period. We come back within one and give up the 2-goal lead back the other direction.
I think that's a good one to end on, James. Let's do some biggest winners, biggest losers. Who you got?
Biggest loser. Shoot, man, I don't even know. I'll give it to Suter for the one play. I thought the rest of the game he looked fine, but it's a very poor play, and I really thought that was the turning point of the game, was that third goal from Nashville. I mean, we came back, it's 2-1. It felt like we were starting to roll, and then bad turnover instantly back up in the back of our net, and from there it felt like you just have to reclimb the mountain, and there's 5 minutes off the clock.
I'm going to let emotional Chris win this one. I'm still going to give it to the refs. The Stars did not deserve to win this game, but they had a chance to, and it felt like the refs stole that from us in that third period. It felt like we should have had a lot of power plays in the third, just from how we were pressing. And yeah, emotional Chris is going to win this one. Biggest winner for you, James.
I'm giving mine to Hakanpää. I thought he had a really good night. The shot was wicked that he had. That first goal that we scored, that was a wicked shot. And then he ends up having 8 hits on the night. He was throwing the body all night long. He draws a boarding power play that we scored on as well. But like, I mean, he looked really well tonight. He did good offensively, and I mean, that's what we need from him when we're playing against these more aggressive teams, for him to hit back, and he did it tonight.
Yeah, my biggest winner is going to go to Thomas Harley. 27 minutes time on ice, rookie defenseman. That is Heiskanen levels and then some. I mean, Heiskanen doesn't play 27 minutes every single night, and Harley did it well. He finishes with a -3. You know I don't like that stat, and this is one of the reasons I don't like that stat. He's on the ice for 2 empty net goals against, and he ends up with a -3. That's dumb. Yeah. He played well tonight. He held down the fort, doing what he could, and obviously he was the only defenseman that DeBoer was having a good time with tonight. All the rest were not doing well.
Even Lundqvist struggled a little bit tonight. And
definitely a step back.
And we really... he needs to keep being good, and this is why we see him get pulled out of the lineup so much, just because it's this inconsistency where one night he looks great, you can play him so much, and then the next night he isn't. It's not like awful. It's not like he's playing awful, because he isn't. He's not playing awful. He's just doing nothing, skating around, not creating anything, and
he looks different.
You can't have that. I mean, you have to have Nils Lundqvist that can play 19 minutes a night every single night.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't keep him in the lineup. If he's going to play 16 minutes, why not just play Hanley? Hanley can do that.
Yeah, well, actually, fortunately for Lundqvist, maybe Hanley had a pretty rough night tonight as well. When you look at it, he ends with 14 minutes time on ice, and that might have been too much for him tonight. I mean, that was kind of a bogus penalty he got called against him, but
a phantom penalty.
He wasn't playing very well either that game. He was getting caught in his own end quite a bit, which was kind of it for the whole game. But you got any closing thoughts for us tonight, James?
I hate losing to this team. And I hate that we've had it's probably one of our worst games of the season. And we're within a goal for...
you almost win it somehow. Yeah.
It's whatever. I wish we could have saved some of that Montreal magic for this game. Just lose the Montreal game, you know?
Yep. I got a little bit of a closing thought. Stars got to figure something out now. I mean, I don't really take the Minnesota games to mean too much. They're awful right now. They got so many people hurt. They are losing everything. So I'm not counting those. We've played 6 to 7 games now, pretty bad. And we had one game in there that was the Minnesota Wild game, Matt Murray even. So yeah, that doesn't count either. 6 or 7 games in a row where the Stars have played pretty bad. At some point, either goalies or defense or forwards, something has been very bad. And this team needs to figure something out before we slip even further down in the standings right now. And right now, your Stars sit 3rd in the Central Division, getting beat by the Red Hot Jets, and then the Avs just keeping pace over us. I mean, you're going to find yourself in a tough start to the playoffs if you don't figure out something real quick.
The only nice thing is that you have one of the worst teams in the NHL as a angry game to come back on. I mean, that was a terrible game you just played. Now go beat the Chicago Blackhawks 8-1 again, please.
Yep.
Like, do that again and get some more confidence back in you, because goodness, that was a terrible hockey game.
Thanks to DraftKings for sponsoring this podcast and all of THPN. Be sure to use that promo code THPN anytime you use DraftKings. Maybe use that on a Cowboys playoff game tomorrow. We got a couple good parlays that you can do on there, I'm for sure. Be sure to check out StarcasherMarks.com. Surprisingly good website for how small our podcast is. Really, just go look at it for a second. You'll be shocked as well. Ryan did a great job on that. We'll see you again on Monday. Correct, James?
Yeah.
We'll see you again on the we'll see you tomorrow Sunday. We'll see you Sunday for your regularly scheduled Starcast Remarks and hopefully celebratory Cowboys playoff show.
Friday? I'm so lost.
It is Friday. I thought it was Saturday. Anyway,
I don't know what's going on.
Have a good evening.
Wait a second.
Oh.
We play tomorrow, Chris.
Oh, great. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.